Okay, I have 4:15. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would you please rise and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Sam Martin. Here. Rick Morgan's here, and Martha Eldridge.
Here.
Here. Public input. Anybody have anything yet? There's no public. Do you have anything you wanted to start the meeting with? Anybody? Anything from the library? No? Everything good? Good? Then we'll start into the red folder. I've lost my pen.
Lost your what?
I had one. And I really did lose it.
Just make sure you hit it this way.
I will.
You have to sign. Yeah.
First thing we have are the minutes of the Selectmen's meeting, which occurred on Monday, June 18th. I make a motion we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I should back up. We did have a short non-public upstairs at 3 o'clock, and it was with our tax collector, again on payment arrangements with delinquent taxpayers. I make a motion we seal those minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Is that all we do?
We have the minutes of the Selectmen's non-public and work session, which occurred on Monday, June 18th. I make a motion we accept them as printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me. We have the check voucher totals. Payroll for week ending 6/23 was $44,444.90. Accounts payable for week ending 6/18 were $198,804.68. We made one school payment in the amount of $980,726 for a total dispersed this last week of $1,223,975.58. Additionally, we had water and sewer accounts payable, which we track separately, in the amount of $16,250.83. I make a motion we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's a lot of money, even if you say it fast. Again, for anybody who may be watching this meeting for the first time, these are just the check voucher totals. There is a multi-tiered review for every bill that comes in. It starts with the department head, who certifies that we in fact received whatever it is that we're being billed for. And then they assign which line item from their individual budget it comes from. It then goes to finance, who prepares it for us, meaning the selectmen. We all each individually review every bill and initial it before it gets to this stage. We have the payroll reimbursement request for the water and sewer department in the amount of $3,492.22. I make a motion we sign. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have noticed that Joe Kenny is going to be at the Ossipee Selectmen's meeting from 4:30 to 5:15 today. We have a letter here from Eversource, and it's regarding replacing distribution structures in the right-of-way adjacent to Ossipee Mountain Estates in Ossipee. It's here in the folder if anybody'd like to look at it. We have the materials list regarding the Sumner Brook projects which we had put out to bid, and I'm going to make a suggestion. We met with our town attorney this afternoon regarding the Sumner Brook lease. And at this juncture, I'm going to make a motion that we delay proceeding with the work at the Summerbrook Fish Hatchery.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we will come back to it, obviously. This is a letter which has been prepared dated June 25th to our tax collector. And we are requesting that you begin the deeding process on the following properties. This is map 14, lot 18, 220 Route 16, land only. Map 80, lot 9, which is on 189 Route 16, land only. Map 43, lot 6, which is 55 Pine Hill Road, land only. Map 96, lot 14, which is 14 Beach River Circle, land only. And map 122, lot 24, which is 69 Duncan Lake Road, land and buildings. I make a motion, we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a timber report and a timber warrant instructing the tax collector to collect $515.66. I make a motion, we sign it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a notice of intent to cut wood. This is on map 240, lot 4000. It's on Chickville Road. It's a 118-acre parcel of land. The owners are Tom Fadden and Harold Whitaker. The logger is Tom Fadden, Fadden Chipping. The taxes have been paid. I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a raffle permit application. This is from the VFW Auxiliary. The date and time of drawing is on December 13th, here at Town Hall. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have the Highway Department work log, which is here in the folder if anybody would like to see it. We have a memo from Brad Harriman, Public Works Director, regarding the road striping. I contacted 4 companies, received 2 quotes for the double yellow line, 120,000 linear feet, and white fog line of 240,000 linear feet. The one was from Industrial Traffic Lines Incorporated. Total was $20,640. The other was from Sir Lines a Lot, and their price was $24,600. My recommendation, the other 2 did not provide a quote, Lake Region Striping or L&D Road Striping. His recommendation is to award the bid to Industrial Traffic Lines Incorporated for a total of $20,640. They have provided this service the last several years and have done a very good job. As you recall, at March town meeting, the voters added $17,000 to the budget to add the white fog lines for this year, and this quote of $10,800 is well under that figure. I make a motion that we go with Brad's recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a request for clerical abatement. This is on map 104, lot 14003, sub 00G. It's a camper that was registered. The town didn't receive a copy of the registration until after the tax bills went out. The original assessment was $7,000. The revised assessment is $500, results in a refund or abatement of $68. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a request for clerical abatement. This is on map 104, lot 014001, sub 020. Again, a camper that is registered. We didn't receive a copy until after the tax bills. The original assessment was $10,200. The revised assessment is $2,100. Results in a refund or abatement of $84.12. I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a notice, just by way of announcement, of a group which is starting soon in Ossipee.
Visiting nurse.
and it's done by visiting nurses and the hospice staff, and it's for children. It's a support group for children, for grieving children and families. The notice will be put on the bulletin board out here in the hallway if it isn't already,
It'll go on the website.
and it's on the town website
Will
as well.
be, under information.
Okay. We received a letter, or an email rather, from Easy Optical in Tamworth, and they're looking to partner with community centers in Conway, Ossipee, Wakefield, and Wolfboro to host a monthly eyeglass day. I'm going to suggest that we refer this over to OCC. Certainly something they may be interested in. We have a copy of the consent calendar from the Executive Council, which is here in the folder if anybody'd like to look at it. And we have a memorandum from the New Hampshire Municipal Association. Where did this come from? This wasn't in the folder a little while ago.
Just came in the mail.
Okay. And it's on upcoming legislative changes that affect the town. Can you make sure a copy of this gets in all of our boxes? I didn't get a chance to read it. We have an email which came back to the town from the town of Effingham regarding our letter that went out. Evidently, the town of Effingham is not clear on what it is we're proposing when it comes to the formation of a school district budget committee. Hi Ellen, hope all is well with you. I'm writing about the letter we received from your selectmen regarding how the school tax is calculated. In reading the letter, I'm not sure what is being requested. Is Ossipee asking for support in petitioning the school district to form a budget committee, or are you trying to form an independent committee consisting of a member from each town to watchdog, quote unquote, the budget process of the district? If it's an independent committee, is it the intent to look for changes in the methodology of payment, which would be petitioning a change at this state level, or just how the GWRSD proportions to the town? Sorry for the questions, but before the board supports the effort, I want to make sure they understand what is being requested. I thought the letter was clear, but my thoughts were that we were looking to see if the other towns in the district are supportive of petitioning to form a budget committee for the school district, which would be an independent person, presumably elected from each town. As far as the payment methodology and everything else, I think that's an issue for another day, potentially with another group. But specifically on the budget, which is what caused us to become involved. Am I wrong?
No.
No, that's, I agree.
And
So,
that was my response back to her.
and that was your response back. So I guess if you should get an inquiry from any of the other towns, feel free to answer on our behalf. Because I know we asked for them to respond to us by what date? Right, it was by today.
I thought you said the second.
I think it was July 2nd.
Okay, so coming up. So if there are any questions, that is the position of the board.
That's
Okay.
There's a choice on our agenda for Wednesday night before we're going to talk about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. You didn't have anything from water and sewer to sign, wow. Old business, anything new, Brad, on 28-171?
No, still haven't heard back from them on that, so, so assuming the last report they get back to me, that I kind of stated before, is that they anticipated going out to bid this fall with next year's construction, and they will be at some point contacting us for a forum here for the public to attend to update them on the final, what's going on with the thing, the design and bids and time frame and stuff, so.
All right. Anything on sidewalks?
Nope, I did put a request into them, and Alan there that we met from District 3 a month ago, probably 2 months ago now, was out of the office today. He was supposed to be back around 2:30. I did tell him I was going to be coming to the meeting at 4, so if he could get back to me by then would be good, but he didn't, so I will keep asking and get an update on that.
I think what you had thought was you'd probably give them into this coming week anyway,
Right.
and then start to rattle the bushes a little bit, so that, I just don't want that approval process to get mired down to the point where it affects our ability to do it.
Yeah.
Because I presume the moment you get approval from them, you're gonna then start the bidding process, right, for the granite curbing, cement work.
Yeah, consider starting that process ahead of time anyway, just get the numbers in.
Yep.
I don't think it'd be a bad thing, then we'll have things lined up to go, and
I agree,
Yeah.
but I guess what I'm saying is I don't want the state to slow us down to a pace where we can't get it done.
right, yep.
Anything on Covered Bridge?
Well, one little thing I did get, was in my box today, was we got approval for change order number 5, which I think went in a year and a half ago, on the last phase of that. I don't know if you remember the dates of that, Ellen, and stuff, but that was on the additional work to do the engineering and stuff for the changes that 3G had done on the bridge, so that's, phase 2 is getting close to being wrapped up from a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I have something to say about that too, okay? I cannot figure out how DOT can do construction work, repair work on all these bridges up in the Conway-Jackson area. Okay, every time I pick up Carroll County Independent, they're doing maintenance on it. But we can't get this bridge across the river.
Well, we're gonna get it there. It's just gonna take us 11 years and $3 million.
We already at 11 years at $3 million.
We're 10 years and $2 million. Not to make it sound any less palatable, but I'm gonna keep saying it, and I would love to find a college student someplace who is doing some sort of a senior thesis on, or a doctorate thesis on how government works. I really would, because anybody, I think, could make a heck of a paper out of this Covered Bridge project.
They already had somebody that wrote it. It's called Working by Studs Terrell.
I'd love to see a new one that would give some attention to what is going on in this bridge project. I think it will be nothing to celebrate in my mind when that bridge finally goes back across the river. But, also on our continuing agenda is the Duncan Lake Town Beach. This week, both Martha and myself had an opportunity to visit the beach. We've discussed it with Brad, and that will be getting some attention this week. It needs it. Second public input. Anybody?
Yeah, actually,
Go for it.
I'm here on behalf of the conservation.
Okay.
Was wondering what's going on with the windows on Ossipee. I mean, I know that Joe was here. We weren't sure, is it going to go out to bid? Is the town?
Last time I knew Joe was meeting with Brad, doing a site visit,
Right.
and we're out.
We did do that, and get the sidewalk project going, stuff like that. I kind of put that one on the back burner. I told Joe what I would do was prepare an email to him and a memo to him and to you, to the board here, discussing what it would entail, what estimate costs that I thought would be with it, and then have you guys determine if you wanted, that's something you wanted the highway department to do, if you wanted to put it out to bid. I think that's kind of the main issue, is depending on what department would do it, whether you want the highway department to go in and work on a conservation project or something like that, or have
I
them.
think there were two things. You were going down and look at the parking area on
Andy Nichols.
Andy Nichols Road.
We did that one too, yeah.
That was something that I think we all pretty much agreed
We would do.
you guys would do.
Yeah.
Can you then get that memo into us for next Monday night's meeting so that we can address the Windows property? Because if it's a case that we're not going to do it, that it does need to go up to bid, then I'd like to get that process started so that it doesn't continue to drag
Yeah,
out.
because it
So,
just seems
it's just
it's really starting to
But
overwhelm.
what happens is that, you know, Brad was on vacation and then Joe was away, and that's the kind of stuff that unfortunately happens, so, yeah, and you're here. Not that we don't like to see you, but, you know what I mean, it could be on a different subject, you know?
Right.
So if we can get something from you for next Monday night's meeting, and if you want to come back, then we'll discuss it
Yeah,
tonight.
if I can do that.
Okay.
That'd be
Fine.
excellent. Yeah, because I know that Ralph Buchanan has some sort of apparatus that he made for his excavator that will actually pull the small, like, saplings out instead of cutting it off and having them, you know, just be an impalement or whatever, because kids jump. And I know that it was an issue of paying someone on the board of doing it. But I'm just saying. Right.
Especially when it was a case that the board was going to hire itself.
Right.
I don't know that he would be ineligible to bid if we put it out to bid. I think he could bid on the process, and then it's an open bidding
Right,
process.
I think
with-
it's an open bidding process, and he would bid on it, and, you know, and see what comes in on that.
Yeah.
Because he does have that
Yeah.
specifically for that reason, you know, it would, I don't know, I don't know how we go about doing it, but if we could figure that out, that would be great. And then on, I don't know if, I know Sam was there, and I know Ellen was there, in the pouring rain on Saturday. We had a blast. The old home week. There were more people that showed up than I thought was going to show up in the rain. I mean, there were a lot of people there. I don't know if you saw any
Call me
pictures.
fair, but I had every intention of going, and you wouldn't go out of the house, or.
Listen, I was over in Wolfboro thinking the same thing. Going, really? And I'm on the board, and I was like, I don't know how many people it did.
For those that break it, I understand it went off very
It
well.
went off great. The amount of people that showed up, I can't imagine what it would have been like if it was sunny. I don't even know if we would have been able to accommodate everyone if it was
You know,
sunny.
maybe there's a big blessing.
Exactly.
Saw that there was definitely some interest, and maybe
Right.
picked up some things to learn for doing it next year, and
Exactly.
hopefully good weather.
Yeah, exactly. And
good.
as I was talking with a couple of other board members saying that, you know, maybe doing a fall, like a harvest one in the fall, you know, where there was such an interest in it.
Yep.
I'm telling you, those people, they were out there in the pouring rain dancing in their umbrellas. They were
And the little girls in their costumes in the wet
The
grass.
dance studio came out,
Yep.
and this rain stopped, but they little troopers were on the ground rolling around in the wet grass. I'm telling you, they had a blast. The kids in the dunk, everyone that was in the dunk tank was great. It was a lot of fun.
I can't imagine they had one.
They did, they were volunteering to go in. Kim Hatch was in there, she was in there, she raised a pretty penny, you know, she was at Vermont, I mean, it was great, and everybody was, you know, it was a really,
As a reminder, home week is now in full swing.
yes, full swing,
Picture derby, I understand, went off very, very well.
went
on
off well,
Saturday.
yep, I know they had to postpone the touch a truck,
Yep.
just because weather permitting, it was supposed to be on Sunday, I know we have the ice cream social, we have paint night here tomorrow night, I'm not sure if there's any more availabilities, any slots available for that. Yeah, and look at the papers.
Papers are out.
Yeah, the papers are out.
It's on the website as well.
Yeah, go definitely go on the website and look at it, and it's,
The events again are very friendly.
Family
yeah,
friendly.
very grand.
And,
Well, the free
and
ice cream
free.
at the gazebo Wednesday night.
Yep. So,
Oh, I'm sure my husband will make that one.
yeah. And then, of course, on the 4th of July at Constitution Park.
And the vendors that we had for the block party, we offered them to come to the 4th of July. At no charge to them, because we figured a lot of people, they did bring a lot of product out, and they weren't really able to advertise a lot of it, so they're gonna come, or they're all gonna show up again at the 4th of July, I believe. So it should be a good turnout. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Missed a good time.
Tim Otterbach, Conservation Commission, just as a follow-up on the Windows site, the scope of work document is complete. There should be no holdup. It's been complete since February, so I know it's been dragging a little bit because people aren't where they need to be at certain times, and we're now talking about maybe having the town do it, which is great. I mean, it's a matter of just making a decision, getting it done. I mean, I was there 2 years ago when we did it with Ralph and his tractor with the thumb on the bucket, and it worked out great, but, you know, it's no big deal. So, anyway,
I anticipate.
it's probably a few hours worth of work.
Monday, you will decide.
Yeah, that's great. Okay.
Anybody else in the public input?
I might actually put a plug in for the grief support group that you mentioned earlier. I've talked with the lady that does that. They do it up at the North Conway Children's Museum. And so they were going to try to bring it down here for the families in Ossipee. But it's designed for families to come and, you know, like parents and kids, and they work in their own peer groups. So the kids go into their own age groups and the adults go in theirs. But I know Ossipee's had a lot of loss, and I think it would be really beneficial for the families and grandparents and anybody to participate in that when they see it.
I agree. Unfortunately, you're right. And thanks to the effort.
The opioid epidemic, we've lost a lot of young people in this immediate area over the last couple of years, so I don't have any doubt that there are some folks that could use it. Mr. Kenny, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well.
How's things in Concord?
Same thing.
Same thing?
It's government, it's the same thing.
Well, spending lots of money, I'm sure.
Well,
Anything you would like to, we're in our second public input. We're actually almost done with our meeting, but is there anything you wanted to bring to us?
Oh, no, I just wanted to, you know, obviously talk about the boat ramp at the lake. And so, I think Representative Comeau and I were down there a little while ago, kind of looking at it. And, you know, I've read all the documentation, and I've talked to the various commissioners, and you know, I have some thoughts. But I think I'm willing to set up a meeting with Fish and Game Director, DOT Commissioner, and the Commissioner of Natural Culture Resources, if perhaps if there's a town official or a representative from the town that would like to go to Concord, and we could do a roundtable and kind of walk through that issue. There's also another person I would probably want to invite, would be the chair of the Public Water Access Advisory Board. They're the ones that are charged with providing public access here in the state of New Hampshire. I think they've attempted that in the past, but I just think that the area is just too small for parking and other amenities to do something like that. However, they could just strictly turn it into a, you know, a canoe launch or non-motorized boat launch, and just leave it strictly at that, which might help out the town if they want to pursue that kind of, well, I would say if they would support that idea. So that way, to take down the town signs, which right now are a little bit misleading, and, you know, just really dismiss it as a watering hole, and just leave it as an access for, you know, boating, so they can go out and fish.
I think all of that makes tremendous sense. Brad, if you wouldn't mind, I can almost be better if we got a point person on this, because many of the questions are around vehicle maintenance stuff.
Right.
We have it, I know you recognize,
I mean, we've tried to be good stewards of it, even though we don't own it, until it really started to get, I think, kind of nastily put back on us that we needed to do more. So that's where it's come down to. I mean, I know, for instance, I know there's a fish and game requirement that they aren't even allowed to stock a pond that does not have public access. So it seems to me it makes an awful lot of sense for them to be involved, since that's one of their, in this area, one of their premier fly fishing only trout ponds. And it is pretty well reputed that way. So I would think they would be all over it to try to maintain that access point.
So is
The
it-
parking does present an issue, and always has. Thankfully, it's one of those little ponds that's kind of out of the way, and it doesn't get a lot of attention, and especially because it's fly fishing only, that is a very small subset of the rest of the fishermen that are on Duncan Lake, for instance, the first day of the season. So I'll make a motion that we have Brad be our point person, and if you would liaison with him as far as the date and time for that roundtable meeting, and have him go down and represent us.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Well, that would have been my suggestion too.
When he was younger?
Yeah, are motorized boats allowed on that lake?
I don't know. I think, I don't know if it's more.
Or I said lake, pond.
It's long, I don't think there's a motor restriction on it currently, I don't know.
Well, like you said, make canoes only.
Yeah, if I may jump in real quickly, some of the fishermen do use electric trolling motors, which I don't think some of us have an issue with, but it is such a small pond, I don't think it's necessary. So it might require some, on that front, legislative action to kind of modify that. I think that I haven't seen, necessarily an MOU between the state and the town with regards to maintenance on that boat launch area. So there might, through the roundtable discussion, Brad might, bring something back to the Board of Selectmen that they might have suggested. But I think right now it's just out there in limbo.
And that's what really concerns me is that, God forbid there's an accident or something happens, that, that individual party is going to be looking at everyone. And right now, we really need to know what we have in front of us, and particularly for the abutters who live in that
Oh,
area.
this isn't a new issue. I've been retired 10
years, and well before I retired, the reason that those town signs are down there was the town trying to be, again, a good steward and trying to appease the neighbors down there to curtail some of the events that were going on down there. But the ownership has been in limbo. We knew we didn't own it, we just didn't know who did. And now it appears as though, at least at some point, the state did own it.
And I think it's the state in their mind is that, they probably recognize they own it.
Yep.
What they probably are, through some type of transaction many years ago, they're thinking that they gave up their responsibility to maintain it. And I don't think it comes that easy, particularly with public access, because most of the public access in the state today on the state waterways, this Public Access Advisory Board has involvement in it. So that's why I would like to pull them in and then, provide a solution. But I do think the town sign does provide some ambivalent messaging that perhaps, maybe that, I'll take a picture of it and bring that along with Brad as a point of discussion and say, listen, we did that really for safety reasons, but nothing more than that. Because the sign really identifies it as a swimming area. And when you're launching boats and you're swimming, that doesn't seem like a good formula. So,
And what we did is
Back then, and I say we, the Board of Selectmen at that time, approved putting the same basic signage that we do have at the town beach, because it was covered under an ordinance that enacted allowing for those things to occur. But it's not a beach. It's not a suitable beach. It's not safe to mix boaters and swimmers ever. Not in a 12-foot swath. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for giving it some attention.
Doggedly determined.
Yep. Well,
A good solution for that.
and it will finally clarify an issue that's been there for well before you and I were here. So.
Yeah, Rainey Pelletier gave me a copy of the letter you sent to the state with regards to saying that until it's, been determined who actually manages the site, that we're not doing any kind of environmental erosion control. Having said that, was that just a board action, or was that town council, or?
No, that was strictly us.
Okay.
And it was more intended to force the team to say, this isn't ours. How can we legally, how can we even apply for a permit to do work on land that isn't ours?
Sure, no, that makes sense.
So,
Because I noticed that he had CC'd one of the compliance officers, so maybe we could bring that compliance officer into that roundtable too.
that would be perfect.
So,
We want to be a part of the solution, but not trying to, by being somewhat stubborn, I think it was probably bringing it away in, so.
stubborn's good, that's no problem.
And we're not sure why I do stubborn. It's not just me.
Rick, not to prolong this conversation, but a good thing to point out is that we also have a similar pond condition up by Conner Pond, which Fish and Game does have a ramp for. And, the ponds are of similar size, similar use, a little bit different up there because, you get a lot more exposure up there because of the ramp, I think. But again, no swimming in that area. So they're comparable, so you can certainly bring that up as a means of, a point of discussion. And maybe that's the lever that Fish and Game needs to, admit that they really do have complete and thorough ownership and
Well, but it
responsibility.
is, I don't think Fish and Game ever owned this one like home. They own this one up here.
Yeah.
It appears by the research that the state of New Hampshire did in fact own it, but it was defunct now, was, at that time, it didn't exist.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I don't fault Fish and Game necessarily for not
No.
taking care of it, they didn't own it.
But I think they should.
That's what I'm getting at, yeah.
I think they should. So, thank you.
My last question is, when can I cut the ribbon for the Whittier Covered Bridge?
Are you running for re-election? When's your term, when's your term up?
It's up every 2 years.
Every two.
It could be up every day. Every time
Well,
I look over at my wife.
I'm only here till next March, and I'm not convinced at all that I will see the ribbon cutting, so, I don't know, we're up to 10 years, we were just talking about that just before you got here, we're up to 10 years and $2 million. I think we're gonna be 11 years and $3 million before it gets back across that river.
You're frowning.
Is it a state issue or?
Well, he just pointed out, just as an example, we today received approval for a change order from, how many months ago?
About a year and a half
Year and a half ago.
on the last
From a
page.
year and a half ago. I'm not trying to shoot the beat up on you as being here, but this project is, I don't think, anything for anybody to be proud of when it's done. And I love that old bridge, don't get me wrong. My great-grandmother lived around the corner. I spent half my childhood hanging out the window of that bridge. I'll guarantee you my initials and that of my first love were probably carved in there someplace. But this has literally been 10 years and $2 million, and we still do not have the bridge back across the river. I am convinced, and nobody will ever change my mind, that if this was a town-run project, we would have had it done in 3 years and less than $1 million. One of the last meetings that Brad went to on this bridge, there were 32 people there representing different state agencies. I can't even fathom if this is what is occurring on this little covered bridge in West Ossipee, New Hampshire. I can't even fathom how you folks down at the Governor's Council could even begin to grasp a budget process for that department. I don't understand it.
So is it stuck in kind of the historical?
No, we're out, it's been broken into phases, but we're back, now it's getting ready to go out to bid on
Right.
phase 3, which is putting the bridge back across the river.
Okay.
But we actually spent a period of time
Waiting for DES to decide if they were going to require mitigation. And we prepared a very nasty letter, which is still here in the file, which we didn't ultimately send. Just flat putting our foot down and saying the town of Ossipee will not spend one single penny on mitigation because this is the same bridge going across the same river in the same spot. And yet there was weeks spent by DES determining whether or not there was going to have to be mitigation. The process is broken to the, I mean, it was so slow to the point that I think it's broken. I can't imagine 3G, who did most of the work up there, who are incredible professionals at rebuilding these covered bridges. Nicest people I've ever met, really great to work with. But I can't imagine how many tens of thousands of dollars and maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars that they have to build into their bid just to have to navigate the state process. I can't even fathom.
So once a bid is awarded, they can move forward at that point?
Right.
Okay.
It's been through final design, it's been reviewed by our engineers, and I think it's ready to go. Should be going up, it's short.
We're just waiting for the final design to be approved. It's all down there. They have all the documents. They've had it there for a couple months now, so it's
The final design.
yep.
But, it's,
I'm
just
doing,
before you go here, I wish I knew of a politician place wanted to do a study on government. To actually take that project as a whole and pick it apart as to what it actually costs versus what it should have cost versus time.
Yeah.
I think it's been frustrated beyond, 18 months to get a changeover approved. I can't even understand how that happens.
we're trying to take Shelburne Rest Stop up in Shelburne out of inventory. And because there's federal highway funding from 50, 60 years ago, and now we find out that there once was Native American Indians that were buried in that location. But thankfully, we found out that they were removed. So now we have to go through a 106 historical review process, and then we have to go through environmental impact. We have to get release from the federal government, then release from our own state government, then it has to eventually get appraised. And then once it's appraised, then it can go out to a bid, and there is an abutter who wants to purchase it. And then from there, it has to go to long-range capital committee, and then they have to approve it, and then maybe it might get to government council. So I share your pain.
Yeah. Listen, this is nothing new, but back when we did the waterfall ceremony, I remember we had to pay a turtle expert
$2,500 to come in and certify that it wasn't prime spotted turtle habitat. I've been here my whole life, I've never seen a spotted turtle, so, go figure. Go figure.
You go down 125 in Barrington, they actually have turtle crossing signs.
Saw those this weekend. Oh, the signs he's talking about, little homemade signs along the road where they,
Anyway, we have anything else on the public input?
No, but you have a meeting, we have a non-public, so don't.
Yep. Nothing? Ed, any updates? Nothing? Quiet?
It's quiet. I did send you an email because Effingham Selectmen did discuss the letter you sent them.
Okay, thank you.
So everything you said about them here today will go back.
Good. Joe, you have something else?
Yeah, I just thought to say that I believe it's Attorney Schuber has been nominated to be a circuit court judge. She's from Effingham. And so we'll have a public hearing on Thursday. And then we'll probably take action at the fall government council meeting. So I believe it's S-H-U-B-E-R-S? Schuber's. So, but from Effingham, so just want to let you know.
There's nothing else. We do have a need to go back into a short non-public with our tax collector on a taxpayer agreement. Poll the board,
Yes. Yes.
and yes. And that's going to be under RSA 91A32A?
See.
C. That's it, no.
For tax matters.
We'll be right back. I make a motion, we reconvene the public meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And I make a motion, we seal the minutes, non-public session we just held with the tax collector.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anything else?
Rick, just a quick question. The covered bridge, the last phase, is that entailing just moving the bridge across and putting it on the abutments, or does it also include reconstruction if needed of the abutments?
Replacing both of them.
Oh, so it's full replacement. That was the part I wasn't clear on before. Okay.
and
Thank you.
restoration of the channel, the river channel itself there too,
Right,
where it's all
right.
eroded and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Stabilization and.
Got it.
We're just hoping to get back across the river
Before all the work we've already paid for rots.
Well, that's it, yeah.
No.
Thank you.
Well, all that wood sitting there just piled up in a heap with no cover over it. Remember I told you this last year, this stuff's rotting. You let wood get wet, you either keep it wet all the time or you keep it dry all the time. You can't just let it sit out there, it's going to rot. So they've got, I'd say probably another $100,000 worth of wood that's just down the tubes now. Well, I know.
If not, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.